Hello and good evening, everyone. We are coming to you from the Capitol Center here on the campus of Capital University as we get you set for another presentation of Comets men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. I'll be bringing you the action tonight as Capital continues to get further and further into the conference schedule here during the 2021-2022 season. The men's team opened OAC play last Saturday against their longtime rivals, the Cardinals of Otterbein University. And unfortunately for Capital, they came up short against Otterbein by a final of 76-68. This was a game in which Capital held a lead at half, 35-30, but Otterbein goes on to win this game thanks to a 46-point outburst in the second half. They end up outscoring the Comets 46-33 in the second half. The Cardinals ended up having three players scoring in double figures in this game. They were led offensively by Cam Evans, who had 17 points, shot 5 of 8 from the field, and an impressive 6 of 8 from the foul line as well. And 16 points apiece for longtime starter Justin Carter, who also went 4 of 5 from three-point land, as well as Brennan Rains, who shot 5 of 6 from the field and a perfect 5 of 5 from the free throw line. For Capital, they were led offensively by Tyler Schreck. He had 16 points to go along with 14 rebounds as he continues to be an absolute double-double machine for this Capital team. He shot 4 of 9 from the field and 8 of 9 from the foul line in that loss to Otterbein. Other double-digit scorers for the Comets, Keandre Graves chipped in with 14, 10 points, meanwhile, for Alex Iyink, the freshman from Maria Stein, Ohio. So, with the loss, that dropped Capital to 4-3 overall, but more importantly, 0-1 with an OAC play. With the win, Otterbein improved to 5-1 overall, 1-0 with an OAC play. So, Capital looking to try to get that first win within conference play tonight, and this evening they will be taking on the Muskies of Muskingum. And a very notable development coming into tonight's game, as one of the top players for this Muskie squad will be out due to injury. Junior Noah Begg, 6'1" wing out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, will not play today due to an undisclosed injury. And that's pretty big news for Muskingum, considering that Begg is one of the top three-point shooters in all of the Ohio Athletic Conference. Begg came into this game shooting a scorching 63% from downtown, by far and away the best mark within the OAC. He was also tied for 5th best in the conference in field goal percentage, averaging just under 11 points per game. So that's huge news for Muskingum, as they will be without the services of their top shooter Noah Begg, which only means that there will be more of an emphasis offensively when it comes to getting the ball in the hands of Muskingum's best player, that being Alex Massinelli. Massinelli is a 6-foot senior guard from Cambridge, Ohio. He averages just under 19 points per game, 18.6 to be exact. That's 4th best in the OAC. His 8 rebounds per game is 5th best in the conference. His 57% shooting percentage from the field is tied for 5th best. And oh, by the way, he shoots 79% from the free throw line as well. Not too shabby. If there is one hole in Massinelli's game, it's that he hasn't gotten off to the start that he would want to when it comes to shooting the 3-ball. He's shooting just a mere 33% from downtown. But rest assured, Alex Massinelli is one of those players. And once he gets his hands on the basketball, he's looking to score. And he can score in a variety of ways for this Muskies team. And with the absence of Noah Begg tonight, he's going to be counted upon to further pick up the slack offensively for this Muskingum team. In terms of how Muskingum has done this year, Muskingum has gotten off to a slow start, 2-3 overall, 0-1 within OAC play. They lost a heartbreaker of a game last Saturday to John Carroll. The Blue Streaks were able to take that game by a final of 87-84. Close, nip-tuck game for both of these squads, as Muskingum was giving its all against John Carroll, who is usually one of the top teams within the OAC. But it was John Carroll who was able to take a late lead thanks to a couple of free throws by Jackson Sartain. Both those free throws coming with about 26 seconds to go. Muskingum had a chance at the last shot, but a steal by Patrick Flannery was able to seal the win for John Carroll. With that loss, Muskingum dropped to 0-1 within OAC play. So tonight, here at the Capitol Center, we're going to see two teams that are desperate for a conference win, and this will actually be the last game for quite some time for the men's team. They are going to be playing tonight. Actually, I take that back. They do have a couple more games to play after tonight's game before we get into the new year. Coming up on Friday, Capitol heads to John Carroll to take on the Blue Streaks. That's a Friday night game that is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start. And then their last game of the calendar year 2021 will be December 18th when they take on Ohio Northern. But tonight, an important game for head coach Damon Goodwin and his crew as they're trying to notch their first conference win of the 2021-2022 campaign. When we come back, we'll have starting lineups and the opening tip-off between Muskingum and Capitol. This is your home for Capitol Comets men's basketball, athletics.capitol.edu. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, and good evening. Coming to you from the Capitol Center, getting you set for another presentation of Capital Comets men's basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now get to tonight's starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Muskies of Muskingum University. At guard, the 6-foot senior from Cambridge, Ohio, number 2, Alex Massinelli. Also at guard, the 6-foot senior from North Ridgeville, Ohio, number 11, M.J. Smith. At forward, the 6'4 junior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 21, Tanner Gensler. Also at forward, the 6'5 sophomore from Coolville, Ohio, number 32, Riley Russell. And at forward, the 6'4 senior from Johnstown, Ohio, number 33, Carson Carter. The head coach of the Muskies in his 7th season at Muskingum, Travis Schwab. Now the starting lineup for the Capital Comets. At guard, the 6-foot sophomore from Springfield, Ohio, number 1, David Sanford. Also at guard, the 6'1" freshman guard from Maria Stein, Ohio, number 3, Alex Ian. At forward, the 6'3" senior from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, number 12, Tyler Schreck. At forward, the 6'7" freshman from Ottoville, Ohio, number 5, Ryan Seaver. And finally, the 6'5" forward, freshman forward, I should say, from Akron, Ohio, number 20, Dom Magerle. The head coach of the Comets in his 27th season here at Capital, Damon Goodwin. Both teams coming off of disappointing losses in their OAC openers. Capital falling to Otterbein last Saturday. Meantime, Muskingum losing a heartbreaker in close fashion to John Carroll. So both teams come in here with equal 0-1 marks within OAC play as they look to notch their first conference win of this young season. Our referee is Chris Nelson. He will be assisted tonight by Justin Carr and A.C. Solly. Capital in their gray uniforms, Muskingum in their red uniforms. We're all set and ready to go. And the opening tip, won by Capital. We are underway here at the Capitol Center. Sanford will now pass off in the hands of Magerle. Now a three-pointer. That's knocked down by Ryan Seaver. And just like that, Capital out to an early 3-0 lead. Now Muskingum with the basketball for the first time tonight. Gensler will give off to Massinelli. We'll be calling Massinelli's name a lot tonight. Ball poked away. Schreck almost had a steal, but Massinelli's able to get it back for the Muskies. He'll now launch a three. That's off the mark. Rebound taken by Tyler Schreck, the leading rebounder in the OAC, averaging 11 boards per game. He'll now go inside to Schreck near the left block. Schreck trying to back his man down, twisting, turning. Now back out to Sanford. 14 on the shot clock. Sanford will feed a pass inside, trying to get it to Magerle, but it goes off of his hands, out of bounds, and it will be Muskingum basketball. So a little over a minute into this game, an early 3-0 lead for Capital thanks to a three-pointer by the freshman Alex Ian, who came in here averaging 10.4 points per game. He's been a bright spot for this Capital bunch so far this year. Muskingum back with the basketball. Carter trying to drive but lost it out of bounds. That'll be an early Muskingum turnover, and it will result in another Capital possession. Schreck will inbound it to David Sanford, the leading scorer for this Capital squad. 10.7 points per game, shooting 43% from the field and about 39% from three-point land. Magerle dribbling to his right, back over to Seaver. Now in the hands of Sanford. Sanford will go baseline, turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound, finally dug out by Muskingum. Grabbing it for the Muskies was Tanner Gensler. As the ball will go out of bounds, and they will give it to the Muskies. Ball inbounded successfully to Massinelli. 18.6 points per game. 4th best in the OAC. 8 rebounds per game as well. That's 5th best in the conference. Carter with a twisting shot, and he gets Muskingum on the board with a nice baby hook. 3-2 lead for Capital. 17:51 left to play in our first half. Iyink feeds it inside to Seaver. Seaver shot, no good. Rebound taken by Bradley Russell of Muskingum. Quickly ahead, and the layup is good for M.J. Smith, senior out of North Ridgeville, Ohio. Averaging 9.6 points per game so far this year as Muskingum grabs its first lead of the game, 4-3 in favor of the Muskies. 17:21 to play in the first half. Sanford, he'll launch a 3, and he'll knock it down from the right wing. Capital retakes the lead, 6-4. Both of their made shots in this game have been three-pointers. A three-pointer from Alex Iyink, and then a trifecta from Sanford moments ago. Muskingum now looking for a response. Carter will feed inside. Another pass inside, a shot, and it is good for Tanner Gensler, the junior out of the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, shooting 46% from the field so far this year. Game tied at 6. Sanford dribbling inside. Now back out to Iyink. Now it's in the hands of Schreck near the right block. Schreck backs his man down. Feed inside to Magerle. Magerle cut off defensively. Back to Schreck. Off the glass, no good by Schreck, but he was fouled. The foul will go against Carson Carter, 6'4" senior out of Johnstown, Ohio. His first, team's first of the half. And now Schreck will head to the foul line. On the season, Schreck's shooting 69% in front of the foul line. His shot is up, and it'll rattle home. And now our first substitutions of the game, 2 for Muskingum. Coming in for the Muskies, Alex Coffey, the freshman out of Grove City, Ohio. And Noah Tomlinson, he's a senior out of Columbus. One more free throw attempt for Tyler Schreck. It is up and good. Schreck allows Capital to regain the lead, 8-6. Under 16 and a half to play in the first half. Dribbling around is Gensler. Gensler will drive in, and he will score. Tied at 8. 16:09 to play in the first half. Schreck, top of the arc. And now a push by M.J. Smith. So he'll be hit with his first personal. Muskingum second of the half. Inbounding the ball for Capital will be Tyler Schreck. Mr. Double-double, 10.6 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, which is best in the OAC. Shooting 55% from the field. Sanford with the pass. Loses it, and Muskingum comes away with the loose ball. Now there's a dive for it. Sanford almost gets it back, and now finally a jump ball is going to be called. Well, it seemed like that ball was on the deck for a good 7 to 9 seconds. As a jump ball is finally called, and the possession arrow will favor Muskingum. Checking in for Capital now will be Ryan Roth. He's been quite the sharpshooter from three-point range. Meanwhile, for Muskingum, Ethan Taylor, the freshman from Talmadge, Ohio. He will check in for the first time for the Red and Black. 8-8 game. And a late substitution. Coming in for Capital will be Joe Thompson, the junior out of Galloway, Ohio. 15:47 remaining in the first half. So far, Muskingum has been doing a nice job shooting the basketball. 4 of 5 from the field. Good for 80%. Capital, meantime, 2 of 4. Good for 50%. And both those made shots have come from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, long jumper. That's no good. Tapped around still. Tomlinson gets the offensive board out of bounds. And Muskingum will keep possession. Well, that's certainly not going to make Capital head coach Damon Goodwin all that happy as his team wasn't able to pull down the board. 19 seconds on the shot clock. Now the ball is tipped away by Schreck, but it will still stay with Muskingum. And Schreck was doing an excellent job defensively that time, denying the inbound pass to the 6'4" Ethan Taylor. Muskingum will now inbound it for the far side. They'll get it into Massinelli. Massinelli, top of the arc, driving in, a dish. Smith will drive in now. Floater, no good. Rebound taken by Ryan Seaver. Schreck, now to the outside. Three-pointer, no good for Joe Thompson. Rebound taken by Muskingum. Game still tied at 8. Alex Coffey, he'll drive down the lane. He'll dish, and scoring is Noah Tomlinson. It was a nice job by Coffey driving down the lane, taking a couple of defenders and opening up just enough for Tomlinson to make the shot near the rim. Muskingum regains the lead 10-8. About 14 and a half to play in the first half. Schreck will go inside to Seaver. Seaver cut off by the baseline, dribbling around, back out to Roth. Roth for three. Roth nails it from the right wing. Another made three-pointer on the night for Capital. Their third already in this game. It allows Capital to regain the lead 11-10 as we rapidly approach 14 minutes to go in the first half. MJ Smith on the right wing, double team, passes out of it to Tomlinson. Tomlinson near the foul line. Jump shot is good for Tomlinson as the big man shows a little bit of range right there. And Muskingum once again by one. 12-11 in favor of the Muskies as we tick under 14 to play. Thompson over to Roth. Now in the hands of Schreck. Schreck back outside. Eyeing for three, and he knocks it down from the left wing. Boy, it has been the three-point show so far tonight for Capital, as a timeout looks like is going to be called by Muskingum. We'll take a break. 13:38 remaining in the first half. The score, Capital 14, Muskingum 12. This is Capital Comets football on athletics.capital.edu. .36 left to play in the first half. Capital by 2, 14-12, and it's been an entertaining back and forth game so far between the Muskies and the Comets. Both these teams looking for their first win in OAC play. Capital losing to Otterbein last Saturday. Muskingum falling to John Carroll. Muskingum quickly up the floor. Carson Carter on the left wing. Nearly has it stolen away, but gets it away to Thompson. Back to Carter for three. That's no good. And another board for Schreck. And now a traveling violation will be called against Joe Thompson. Took one too many steps with the basketball that time. So far in this game, Muskingum shooting 6 of 10 from the field, good for 60%. Capital not that far behind, 4 of 7, good for 57%. And all 4 of their makes from the field have been three-pointers. Tomlinson backing his man down. Big man with a jump hook, and it's good. Boy, I tell you what, Noah Tomlinson, the senior from Columbus, has looked pretty good so far tonight. He's already got 6 points. Played his high school ball at Grove City Christian High School back in the day. Meantime, Griffin Dosick has just checked in for Capital. Swinging around to Ryan Roth. Roth for three. Roth knocks it down. Another made three-pointer for Capital, their 5th of the game. All of their makes continue to be from downtown. Capital 17. Muskingum 14. Under 12 and a half to play in the first half. Nearly an over and back, but Taylor's able to save it for Muskingum. Sean Johnson, the sophomore from Euclid, now handling the basketball, and a little out of control that time by Johnson, but he is going to be bailed out by a foul on Alex Eying. His first foul, team's first of the half. As a couple substitutions will now check in for Muskingum. Tanner Gensler checks in, and now for the first time tonight, we see Jermond Hogg, a sophomore out of Akron. 17-14 lead. Ball poked away, and Roth comes away with it for Capital. He's able to save it to Schreck. Schreck will bring it across half court. Three-pointer on the way, and that is no good. The first miss of the night from three for Capital. Schreck grabs the rebound, and he is fouled. The foul will go against Tanner Gensler. His first, team's third of the half. So it seems as though the Capital is human, at least from three-point range. A drive on the inside, and Thompson misses it for Capital. But an offensive board by Dosick. Over to Schreck. Thompson driving in, shot, good. Joe Thompson getting a second chance opportunity there, and he makes it. 19-14 in favor of Capital. Coming up in 11 and a half to play in the first half. Carter driving in, and an offensive foul will be called against Carson Carter. That's his second personal, team's fourth of the half. Nice job defensively by Capital that time. DeAndre Graves is in for Capital. Meantime, checking back in for Muskingum is MJ Smith. Roth will bring it across the timeline. On the right wing, bounced over to Thompson, and Thompson can't handle it, as that will be an over and back. Substitutions now as a pair of 32s check in for Muskingum, Bradley Russell, and for Capital, Justin Nixon, the freshman from Minster, Ohio. It's a 19-14 advantage for Capital, 11-16 remaining in what has been a very fast-moving first half. Three-pointer on the way. Off the mark, no good, and Dosick grabs the rebound for Capital following the miss by Smith. Now they'll go inside to Nixon, and Nixon puts it up and in. Largest lead of the game for Capital. They're up by 7 with under 11 to play in the first half. Now they'll go inside to Russell. Russell will go back outside to Hogg. Hogg still handling the ball, attempting to go downhill in the lane, but he's cut off beautifully by Keandre Graves. Sean Johnson. He'll now try to go around, and a foul is going to be called against Justin Nixon, his first, team second of the half. Back into the game for Muskingum is Alex Massinelli, and we haven't heard too much from Massinelli tonight. He has yet to register a single point, as a matter of fact. This coming from a guy that averages 18.6 points per game. Massinelli fights out of a double team, trying to go downhill. Down the lane, no good, and the rebound is gathered up by Justin Nixon. Roth looking to push it to Thompson. Back to Nixon. Now back out to Thompson on the right wing. Over to Roth. Roth will jack up a three. No good. Rebound. Nixon had it. Lost it. Now a jump ball is going to be called. Nixon battling for possession of that ball with Tanner Gensler. As now Dom Magerle will check in for Capital along with David Sanford. 7-point lead for Capital, 10:06 left to play in our first half. Sanford will inbound it from the baseline. Looking, still looking, got to get it in, and finally does to Justin Nixon. Nixon to Dosick. Now they go inside to Magerle. Nice give and go, and out of bounds it will go to Muskingum. Dosick was wanting a foul on that play. The referee did not give it to him, and therefore it is Muskingum basketball. 21-14 lead for Capital. We're under 10 minutes to play in the first half. Massinelli in a double team, and now a foul is going to be called against Capital. It will go against David Sanford on the reach-in. That's his first, team's third of the half. Hogg gets it in to Massinelli. Now a three. Smith knocks it down. Cuts the Capital lead to 4, 21-17 in favor of the Comets. Keandre Graves dribbling to his left, to the top of the arc. Over to Dosick on the left wing. Dosick, a little bit of a spin move. Out to Nixon. Nixon driving in and scoring. But no, basket will not count. That will go as an offensive foul. Justin Nixon, that's his second personal, team's fourth of the half. So with Nixon garnering his second foul of the game, he will give way to Ryan Seaver, who checks back in for Capital. 21-17 lead for the Comets, 9:25 to play in the first half. This has generally been a back and forth first half. Capital led by as many as 7. But Muskingum still hanging in there tough. Smith will go inside. Back out to Smith. Smith down the lane. Kick in the corner. Three-pointer for Hogg. And that is no good. And the battle for the loose ball. Seaver comes away with it for Capital. Sanford puts up a three. That's no good, and the rebound's taken by M.J. Smith of Muskingum. A shot early in the shot clock for Capital there, and it comes up no good for the purple and white. Meantime, another hook shot. That's off the mark, and the rebound is taken by Nixon. And then Graves has to gather up a loose ball as it's poked away. Graves, top of the arc to Seaver, now to Magerle. Magerle to Sanford. Sanford, left wing, 13 on the shot clock. And Sanford just did too much dribbling that time. Gets it back. And then a foul is called against Capital's Ryan Seaver. That'll be his first personal, team's 5th of the half. Tyler Schreck checks back in for Capital. 21-17 lead for Capital. 8:09 left to play in the first half. Massinelli passing it over, three-pointer, and the big man knocks it down. Noah Tomlinson has had himself a very good first half for this Muskingum team. He has now got 9 points, and that brings Muskingum into within 1. A kick to Graves for 3. Keandre can't knock it down, and the rebound taken by Muskingum. Now the Muskies have a chance to retake the lead as Coffey brings it up the floor. Now to Massinelli on the right wing. Massinelli dribbling to his left, now to his right. Gets out of a double team. Over to Tomlinson. The big man has had the hot hand for Muskingum so far tonight. They go back inside to Tomlinson. Can't finish the layup. Rebound taken by Tyler Schreck. Now it's over to Graves. Keandre driving. And they'll say that the foul occurred on the floor. Ethan Taylor committing the foul for Muskingum, team's 5th. Roth will now inbound it for Capital from the baseline. Over to Schreck. Schreck with another kick. Iyink with a shot fake and misses the jumper. No good. Rebound taken by Tomlinson. Now it's Massinelli quickly up the floor for Muskingum. He's picked up by Roth defensively. Massinelli with a jumper, and he knocks it down from 12 feet. First points of the night for Massinelli. But more importantly, Muskingum retakes the lead, 22-21. 6:40 to play in the first half. Seaver to Magerle. Magerle with a spin move. Tough shot, no good. And the rebound is taken by Tomlinson. Massinelli over to Tomlinson. Back to Massinelli. Massinelli dribbling to his left. Over to M.J. Smith. 13 on the shot clock for Muskingum. Smith on the right wing. Smith trying to drive out of bounds, and they will give it to Capital. And now a substitution for Muskingum as Carson Carter checks back in for the Muskies. It is a 22-21 lead for Muskingum with 6:10 left to go in our first half. Capital shooting 41% from the field. Muskingum shooting 53% from the field. Magerle on the right wing. Caught in a double team, but fights out of it. To Schreck, to Roth. Roth thought about a three, but pulls back. He's still on the right wing. They'll go inside to Magerle, near the right block, backing his man down, bounce pass inside to Schreck, and Schreck finishes. Capital by 1, 23-22. Approaching 5.5 to play in the first half. Carter, right wing, over to MJ Smith. Smith, top of the arc. Now over to Carson Carter. Carter, pass out of a double team. Tomlinson, a little bit of a shot fake. Goes inside and scores. Major story developing here as Noah Tomlinson continues to do great work for Muskingum. The three-pointer by Roth is no good. Tomlinson, by the way, with 11 points for the Muskies. Muskingum by 1, 24-23. Massinelli on the left wing. Over to Smith for three, and he knocks it down. Big shot that time by MJ Smith. And now it's the largest lead of the game for Muskingum, 27-23, 4:45 left to play in the first half. They'll go inside to Schreck. Schreck guarded by Tomlinson, and Schreck, reverse layup, count the bucket, and a foul. Tyler Schreck took Noah Tomlinson to school along the baseline as he'll now have an opportunity for a three-point play. Meantime, substitutions. First for Muskingum, Tanner Gensler checks in along with Carson Carter. Meanwhile, Thompson will come back in for Capital along with Griffin Dosick. Schreck's foul shot up and good. That brings Capital to within one. Another substitute for Muskingum as Sean Johnson will check back in. 27-26. Muskingum holding the slim 1-point lead with about 4.5 to play in the first half. Carson Carter has his pass tipped away. Here comes Schreck. He'll lay it. No, he'll miss the layup. Oh, boy. You would have thought at such close range that would have been a sure thing, but Schreck missed it. Then at the other end, a foul will be called against Thompson. It'll be his first, team 6. As heading to the free throw line for Muskingum will be Bradley Russell. In a close game such as this, missing what they like to call bunnies like that on the other end for Schreck, this can really come back and bite you. In the meantime, Russell buries his first free throw. And the Muskies are quite accustomed to seeing him do great work at the cherry stripe. 83% from the free throw line this season. Shows it off right there as he knocks down both. Extends the Muskingum lead to 3, 29-26. 4:12 left to play in the first half. Schreck, top of the arc, 15 to shoot. Roth will launch a three. That's no good. And the rebound is taken by Muskingum. Carter fighting out of a double team, finally gets it over to Sean Johnson, who takes it across half court. They'll then go inside to Russell, back to Carter for three. Rush three, no good, but the offensive putback, that's not good as well for Tanner Gensler. So now Capital perhaps with an opportunity to tie if they can knock something down from downtown. Dosick passing off to Iyink. Iyink now inside to Schreck. Schreck picked up defensively by Gensler. Back outside. Dosick for three. Dosick knocks it down. We're knotted at 29. A much needed shot right there for Capital. 3:08 to play in what has been a very entertaining first half. Smith trying to drive but cut off. Passing back out to Carter. Carter, right wing, dribbling to his left. Smith thought about a three, pump fake, back to Carter. Carter down the lane, jump hook is good. Muskingum back up by 2. 31-29, 2:45 left to play in the first half. Muskingum shooting 54% from the field, Capital shooting 44% from the field. And a foul, looks like will be called against Sean Johnson. That's his first personal. Team 7th. So now, 1-1 situation for Capital as Roth will step to the free throw line, and he is still looking for his first made free throw of the season. He has only gone to the cherry stripe a grand total twice. And finally, he gets off the Schnei as he knocks that one down. He'll have one more coming. First, a substitution for Muskingum as Noah Tomlinson, he of the 11 key points for Muskingum tonight, back into the game for the Muskies. Roth, meantime, back at the foul line. It's up, and it's good. And we're tied at 31. 2:36 left to play in the first half. And both teams still with plenty of timeouts as well if they want to use them here in the late going of the first half. Smith getting the inbound. He'll take it across half court. Picked up defensively by Sanford. Now bounced over to Carter. Carter double team. Gets out of the double teams. Don Magerle making life miserable for him defensively. Now they go inside to Carter. Ball nearly tipped away. And now a foul will be called against Justin Nixon. That is his third. And that's now the team's 7th foul. So now a 1-1 situation for Muskingum as Carter gets set to go to the line. Meantime, Capital will make a substitution as Schreck will check back in. And Nixon takes a seat. Carter on the season has shot 100% from the foul line. That's in a very small sample size, however. The shot is up, and it's no good. That's his first miss from the foul line this season as the game remains tied at 31 all. Capital back with the ball. Eyeing, left wing, passing over to Dosick. Now bounced over to Schreck. Schreck up against Tomlinson. Schreck, baseline, pass back outside. Sanford for 3. Sanford knocks it down. Capital once again by 3. That is the 7th made three-pointer of the night for Capital, and we have yet to reach halftime. Massinelli, meantime, will pass it outside. Carter nearly lost that one. Now over to Tomlinson. Tomlinson, floater of a pass inside to Gensler. Gensler shot up, no good, but a foul will be called against Capital. It is going to go against Alex Eyink. That's his second, team's 8th. This will be a shooting foul, 2-shot for Tanner Gensler. Came in here shooting a very impressive 83% from the foul line. The shot is up, and he rattles it home. One more upcoming for Gensler, the junior from Pittsburgh, PA. Meantime, Capital will make a substitution as Keandre Graves will check back in for the Comets. Shot is up by Gensler. It is good. 1 point lead for Capital. 34-33, minute 20 remaining in the first half. Let's see if Capital can end this half on a high note. Schreck, top of the arc. Going over his options, dribbling to his left. Sanford, shot fake, back outside. Dosick for 3, no good. And the rebound taken by Massinelli. So now Muskingum with a chance to retake the lead. MJ Smith, left wing. And now a hold will be called on the inside against Capital. He'll go against Sanford, and that's his second personal. Team's 9th. 1-1 situation upcoming here for Carson Carter, and Sanford will be forced to check back out as Roth comes back in for Capital. Meantime, free throws up, no good. Rebound taken by Schreck. Still a 1-point lead for Capital as we are under a minute to play. Kick ball by Muskingum, most likely off the foot of Carter. So Capital will maintain possession here. 51.6 seconds to go in the first half. Substitution now for Muskingum. Jermon Hogg back in. Roth will now inbound it for the far side. Get it into Keandre Graves. Graves to Dosick. Dosick, top of the arc, inside. Magerly finishes. Nice find on the inside as Dom Magerly was able to convert. 3-point lead for Capital. 30 seconds and counting in the first half. Massinelli will drive off the glass and in. That was just too easy that time for Massinelli. It remains a 1-point lead for Capital. Shot clock turned off. 17 seconds and counting in the first half. Roth near midcourt, picked up defensively by Massinelli. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. Roth has got to go. Gets a screen from Schreck. Roth picks up his dribble over to Magerly. Magerly trying to pass, tough shot off the side of the backboard and no good. And that is how the first half will end, and a very good ball game here at the Capitol Center thus far. At the break, it is Capital 36, Muskingum 35. Coming up, we'll get you updated with scores around the OAC as well as some score updates around Division I men's college basketball and more. Again, at halftime, the score, Capital 36, Muskingum 35. This is your home for Capital Comets men's basketball. Athletics.capital.edu. Back here at the Capitol Center, we are at halftime, and the score, Capital 36, Muskingum 35, in what has been a very entertaining ball game so far. Let's go ahead and check scores around the OAC. Let us begin with what is always a very entertaining matchup. John Carroll taking on Mount Union. And the score 37-36 in favor of John Carroll in that one, leading the charge offensively. For the Blue Streaks, that would happen to be longtime player for them, Jackson Sartain. He's got 11 points to go along with 7 rebounds. Mount Union, meanwhile, they already got a pair of double-digit scorers. 12 points for Daryl Newsom and 13 points for Ethan Stanislawski. And it's always a very entertaining game when the Purple Raiders and the Blue Streaks get together. We'll let you know how that one turns up after our ball game. Meantime, they have gone to half at Ohio Northern and the Polar Bears right now leading Wilmington in that one 34-25. Howard Northern being helped out offensively by Michael Berner. 12 points, shooting 6 of 9 from the field as Berner's gotten off to a nice start offensively. Jeffrey Mansfield, the leading scorer for Wilmington, he's got 8 points for the Quakers in that one. And a game that is rapidly approaching halftime. Heidelberg finding themselves in trouble. They trailed Trine in a out-of-conference matchup by a score of 37-27 with just a little over a minute to play in the first half of that one. Isaiah Young leading the Student Princes in scoring with 11 points. Nick Bowman, meanwhile, has gotten Trine off to a nice start thanks to his 12 points. He's gone 4 of 8 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from the foul line. So those are scores involving teams around the OAC. Meantime, some scores for you involving top 25 squads. We begin with 15th ranked Connecticut, who right now trails unranked West Virginia 30-27 with a little over 2 minutes to play in the first half of that game. Meantime, 20th ranked Florida all over North Florida 33-19 with 3:43 left to play in the first half. And finally, a rumble in the Big Ten. Unranked Indiana leading Wisconsin, 22nd ranked Wisconsin, I should say, 36-20 in that ball game. Some other matchups coming up later on tonight. 19th ranked Michigan State will head to Minneapolis to take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Minnesota, by the way, undefeated so far this season. The Spartans 19 in the most recent polls. 21st ranked Ohio State coming off of, I should say, a rather impressive week last week, which included an upset victory over then top-ranked Duke. They will play host to Towson coming up later on tonight beginning at 9 o'clock. 24th ranked Brigham Young will play host to Utah State also at 9. And then coming up at 10 o'clock, one of the big surprises this season, the Arizona Wildcats out to a tremendous 7-0 overall start. They find themselves ranked number 11 in the latest AP poll. The Wildcats playing host to the also undefeated Wyoming Cowboys, who don't find themselves in the top 25 entering play tonight. So those are some of the games to watch out for top 25-wise at the Division I level. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll examine the first half stats of this game. And it's been a good one so far. Capital 36, Muskingum 35. This is Capital Comets basketball. Athletics.capital.edu. Back here at the Capitol Center, still halftime as the Comets find themselves leading the Muskingum Muskies 36-35 at the break. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the stats from the first half. We begin with the team statistics. Muskingum shooting a very impressive 56% from the field. That includes going 3 of 8 from downtown, good for 38%. They've also gone 4 of 6 from the foul line, good for 67%. Meanwhile, Capital, they have shot 44% from the field. They have 12 makes from the field, 7 of them, so over half of them, have been from three-point range. The Comets have shot 7 of 15 from three-point land, good for 47%, and they're also a perfect 5 of 5 at the foul line, good for 100%. Muskingum right now winning the rebounding battle 14-12 in favor of the Muskies. Other team statistics of note, Capital leading the assist battle 9-7. Capital with 7 turnovers, Muskingum with 6. Bench points in favor of Capital 15-11. Fast break points, a slim 4-0 edge for Muskingum. Steals, Capital 3, Muskingum, they got 2 takeaways. Points off turnovers, Muskingum 8, Capital 4. Points in the paint favor the Muskies. They got 18 as opposed to only 10 for the Comets. A first half that was back and forth between two teams still looking for their first win in OAC play. The largest lead for Capital has been 7. The largest lead for Muskingum has been 4. There have been a grand total of 10 lead changes and 5 ties as well. So that should give you an idea of how close this ball game has been thus far. Now on to the individual statistics. Let's begin with Muskingum, and let's begin with perhaps the biggest surprise of the night. Noah Thompson, 6'6", senior forward, coming off the bench tonight for Muskingum, has provided a big boost for this Muskies team. Remember, Muskingum without the services of their best three-point shooter, Noah Begg, who is out tonight with an injury. He was leading the OAC in three-point shooting. Tomlinson, meanwhile, has provided a big lift coming off the bench. He's got 11 points. He shot 5 of 6 from the field, including a made shot from three-point range. He's also got 4 rebounds as well. Other scorers in that first half for Muskingum, 8 points for MJ Smith. Only 4 points for Alex Massinelli, a guy who came in here averaging 18.6 points per game, 4th best within the OAC. Had a very, very quiet first half, going only 2 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from three-point range. 6 points in that first half for Tanner Gensler. Bradley Russell, he's got 2 points. And Carson Carter, he's got 4 points for the Muskies. Meantime, for Capital, they've had a host of scorers from that first half. Leading the way offensively was Ryan Roth. He had 8 points, going 2 of 5 from the field. Both makes from the field from three-point range, and also a perfect 2 of 2 from the foul line. Other scorers from that first half for Capital. David Sanford with 6 points. Tyler Schreck, he's got 7 points to go along with 4 assists and 4 rebounds. 2 points for Dom Megerly. 3 points for Alex Iyink. Also 3 points for Ryan Seaver. Dosick with 3 points as well. And then 2 points each for Joe Thompson and Justin Nixon. Well, I know this. Alex Massinelli is going to be wanting to get his points in a hurry. We talked about how that was a very quiet first half for him, although Massinelli was able to dish out 4 assists to go along with his 4 points. So he was doing a nice job of getting his other teammates involved in the offensive game plan for Muskingum. But again, the story from that first half, to me, was the emergence of Noah Tomlinson, the senior who doesn't get a lot of starts for this Muskingum team, but he has come off the bench, and turns out he's the leading scorer at the half with 11 points. It was going to be tough sledding for Muskingum offensively tonight with the loss of Noah Begg, but because of the emergence of Tomlinson tonight and just other guys picking their spots, doing a nice job of getting the shots that they want, Muskingum actually came out here tonight with a very impressive offensive performance in the first half. It'll be very interesting to see if they can carry that over to the second half. Meantime, for Capital, the early storyline in that first half was the three-pointer. The 7 3-pointers have been huge for Capital. It's what's allowed them to have this 1-point lead at the half. But I think at some point, Capital's got to do a better job of getting shots inside the perimeter, getting more towards the rim. Maybe a player like Tyler Schreck can get that going, because at some point you're going to cool off from three-point range. You'll definitely take 7 to 15 from the field, around 47% from downtown. But Capital's going to need to find a way to create more shots around that rim. This is a back-and-forth game. A lot of ties, a lot of leads. So if Capital can get the offense going on the inside to go with the already hot shooting from three-point range, I think Capital might be well on its way to its first conference win of the season. Quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the start of the second half. Coming out of half, it is Capital 36, Muskingum 35. This is Capital Comets men's basketball on athletics.capital.edu. Once again, welcome back to the Capital Center. Start of the second half. Coming out of the break, Capital leading Muskingum 36 to 35. I'm Charlie Danis. We hope that you are having a very happy holiday season so far here in the month of December. Just think, Christmas is right around the corner, and then we'll have to turn the calendar page to a new year of 2022. But first, a couple more games for this Capital team. Muskingum tonight, followed by a Friday night matchup with John Carroll. And then they play their final OAC game of the calendar year of 2021 on Saturday, December 18th against Ohio Northern. But they got business to attend to here against Muskingum as Smith misses the three-pointer for Muskingum. Capital back with the basketball. Schreck inside, back out to Magerle. Now bounced over to Seaver. Seaver will try to back his man down. Nearly lost the ball. Now to Schreck. Sanford for three, and he hits. Good start for Capital there offensively. They open the lead up to 4 thanks to the three-pointer by Sanford. It'll go out of bounds, and it'll remain with Muskingum. 39-35 lead early on here in the second half. Carter gets it in to Massinelli. He of the 4 points, the very quiet first half for Massinelli. Now in the hands of Gensler. Back out to Smith. Smith will try to go baseline, trying to feed it inside. Tipped away, and Schreck comes away with the loose ball for Capital. Schreck the other way. Sanford for three. No good. And the rebound is taken by Muskingum. Russell quickly feeds it ahead. And Carter will finish on the other end. The Capital lead down to 2, 39-37. And we still got a lot of game left. Seaver bouncing it over to Iyink. Iyink right wing, dribbling to his left. Iyink over to Schreck on the right wing. Schreck trying to drive inside. Tough shot, and he gets it to go. Despite good defense by Muskingum, Schreck just a little faster, a little tougher, as he's able to convert that one, 41-37 in favor of Capital. 18:08 left to play in the second half. A pass inside to Carter. Carter will give it up. Jumper knocked down by Bradley Russell, the sophomore from Coolville, Ohio. The Capital lead back down to 2, 41-39. Magerle, top of the arc, bounced over to Sanford. Sanford will now feed Schreck in the post. Schreck being guarded by Russell. Turnaround, Schreck, now back out. Iyink for three, and he knocks it down from the corner. Alex Iyink. splashing it from the corner. A 44-39 lead for the Comets. Gensler to Carter. Carter, scoop shot, no good. Rebound taken by Schreck. Schreck outside to Iyink. Now to Magerle for three. And Dom completely misses it as it'll go out of bounds and it'll be Muskingum basketball. Now back in for Muskingum is Noah Tomlinson. Tomlinson with 11 points in that first half coming off the bench. And speaking of the bench, Joe Thompson, he will leave the Capital bench and head out onto the floor where he will take the place of Dom Magerle. 44-39 lead for Capital, 17-12 left to play in the second half. Carter will bring it across half court. He'll now pass it on over to Gensler. Gensler trying to drive in. Wild shot. Gensler misses it. And Sanford with the rebound. He'll look to push. Sanford, jumper from the right elbow. That's no good. Saved. Well, I thought it was going to be saved by Seaver, but upon further review, he was out of bounds. And it'll be Muskingum ball. A 44-39 edge for the Muskies. Massinelli, double teamed. Now over to Tomlinson. Now it's in the hands of M.J. Smith. Smith on the left wing. Passing over to Tomlinson. Inside to Gensler. To Massinelli now. Massinelli will pass out of it, but then a foul called. This one will go against Capital. And it looks like the foul will go against Tyler Schreck. His first of the ball game and team's first of the half. And now checking in for Muskingum will be Alex Coffey. Coffey, a native of Grove City, Ohio. So he'll be in there for Muskingum as the ball tipped away on the inbounds pass by Schreck. Coffey will inbound it successfully to Massinelli. 16:27 left to play in the second half. Capital with a 44-39 lead. They'll go inside to the big man Tomlinson. Tomlinson with a couple of shot fakes, misses the shot at close range, and the rebound taken by Thompson. Sanford will try another three. That's woefully short. Thompson will try to go on the inside, but the pass picked out by Massinelli. He lost it. Schreck gets it back inside, and Seaver scores. And a timeout will be taken by Muskingum. We'll take one right along with them. 16 minutes to play in the second half. Capital 46, Muskingum 39. This is Comets basketball here on athletics.capital.edu. $16 minutes to play in the second half. Capital's opened up a 46-39 lead over Muskingum. Now let's see what the Muskies will do in response as Alex Coffey will bring it across the timeline. He's at the top of the arc. Oh, nearly stolen away by Schreck. Smith, however, gets it back. Three, no good. Rebound taken by Sanford. Sanford with a baseball pass all the way up to Iyink. Iyink up, no good, but he was fouled hard by Smith. And now Alex Iyink, the freshman out of Maria Stein, Ohio, will head to the foul line. It has been a successful season so far for the freshman guard from Maria Stein, Ohio. Iyink coming in here, averaging 10.4 points per game. Also shooting 50% from three, which was tied for fifth best in the OAC. Iyink, a right-handed shooter. His first foul shot is up and no good. That's very uncharacteristic from Iyink, considering that he was a 77% free throw shooter coming into action tonight. Two substitutions for Muskingum as Ethan Taylor and Carson Carter check back in for the Muskies. And a substitution for Capital as well, as Griffin Dosick will check in for the Comets. One more free throw attempt upcoming for Ink. Staggers the feet slightly, puts up the shot, and it's good. So he splits the pair at the line, does Ink. 47-39, and it's now an 8-point lead for Capital. That tops the previous largest lead of the game for Capital, which was 7. Now Sean Johnson being guarded by Sanford. Johnson driving in, wild shot, no good, and another rebound for Sanford. Up ahead to Dosick. Now swung around. Ink for 3, and it's good. Capital 50, Muskingum 39. Carter lost it. Sanford comes away with a steal. Up ahead to Thompson. Thompson lays it up and in. And a timeout taken by Muskingum as Capital is feeling it both offensively and defensively. We'll take another timeout. 15:02 remaining in the second half. Capital leading Muskingum 52-39. This is Comets basketball on athletics.capital.edu. A double-digit lead for Capital. 15:02 left to play in the second half. Capital has really opened things up here in the second half as they lead Muskingum 52-39. Alex Ink leading the charge offensively for the Comets with 10 points, and soon to be joining him in the double-digit scoring market. David Sanford, he's got 9. Tyler Schreck, he's got 9. And by the way, Schreck is absolutely putting up major numbers. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. That's what you call stuffing the stat sheet, folks. So 52-39 lead for Capital. 14:42 remaining in the second half. Carter missing the shot, and then a battle for the loose ball. Foul will go against Capital, as the foul will go against Tyler Schreck. That's his second of the game. Team second here in the second half. And now coming back into the game for Capital was Justin Nixon, who had to battle some foul trouble in the first half. So Schreck will get a much-needed breather. Meantime, Carter trying to inbound it for the baseline. He'll finally get it in to Johnson. Johnson, right wing. And an offensive foul is going to be called. It's going to go against Ethan Taylor, his second personal, team second of the half. Capital 52, Muskingum 39. Ink passing it over to Thompson. Swung around to Sanford, jumper, no good for David. But the putback is up and in for Thompson. Or excuse me, Justin Nixon. And a foul will be called against Joe Thompson. It'll be a reach-in foul, so he was defending on the play against Carson Carter. Third of the half for Capital. Alex Massinelli will check in for Muskingum. Bradley Russell will check in as well. 54-39 lead for Capitals. We tick under 14 to play in the second half. Twisting, turning, and nice job defensively that time by Justin Nixon as he swatched that one away out of bounds. It'll still stay Muskingum ball. 8 seconds to shoot for the Muskies. Carter quickly gets it in to Gensler. Now back to Russell. Russell almost losing it out of a double team, and boy, somehow he's able to get a tough jump hook to go. Still a 13-point lead for Capital. Approaching 13 and a half to play in the second half. Ayink. Inside, Dosick finishing. Looked like Massinelli slipped on that last play, allowing Dosick to get free for an easy 2. Carter, right wing, over to Coffey. Now in the hands of Massinelli. Massinelli, left wing, dribbling to his right. Massinelli, jumper from the right elbow, and he buries it. Massinelli now only with 6 points in the game. The quiet night continues for the 4th leading scorer in the OAC. Meantime, inside, Dosick, pump fake, has his shot blocked, and Massinelli comes away with a loose ball from Muskingum. A run-out opportunity. Carter, twisting, turning, tough shot, up, no good. Dosick grabs the rebound for Capital. Ayink, down the lane, wild shot, and an offensive foul is going to be called against Alex Ayink. His 3rd. And Damon Goodwin is upset with that last call. He was wanting to foul on Muskingum because it looked like the defender got in the way of Ayink. It'll go down as an offensive foul against Ayink in the long run. 14th foul on Capital this half. Under 12 and a half to play in the second half. Capital still sporting a 13-point lead over Muskingum. Massinelli, long 2, knocks it down. 56-45. 12-13 left to play in the second half. Keandre Graves passing it off to Thompson. Now they go inside to Dosick. Back to Thompson. Thompson for 3. No good. Rebound taken by Massinelli. Muskingum trying to get it to single digits. Massinelli from 3-point land. Now he'll get inside to Gensler. Back to Massinelli. Massinelli from the right elbow. That's no good. And the rebound taken by Justin Nixon. He'll now drop it off for Roth, who will take it across half court. 11:38 left to play in the second half. 56-45 in favor of Capital. Graves to Nixon. Handoff to Thompson. Now it's swung around to Roth. 9 to shoot. Roth, top of the arc. Inside to Dosick. Dosick trying to put a move on his man, but before that, a whistle and a foul called against Tanner Gensler. That'll be his 2nd personal. Team's 3rd of the half on Muskingum, as Schreck and Seaver check back in for Capital. Already talked about Schreck's glorious night thus far. 9 points, 4 assists, or 7 assists, 4 steals, and 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, for Seaver, he's got 5 points. Looking to improve upon that mark as it'll go out of bounds, and it'll be Muskingum basketball. Ball will be inbounded next to the Capital bench. As some time was added back on the clock. They let that bad boy run a little longer than expected following the whistle. So now it's 11:05 to play in the second half. Capital 56, Muskingum 45, missed shot, and then a foul called against Muskingum. Foul will go against Tanner Gensler, his 3rd, team's 4th of the half. And now checking back in for Capital will be Dom Magerle. Magerle, a native of Akron, Ohio, attended Archbishop Hoban High School. One of the best high school football programs in the state over there at Hoban, as the pass will go out of bounds. And Capital turns it over, giving it back to Muskingum. 10:50 to play in the second half. Still a double-digit lead for Capital as the Comets lead by 11. Russell, now to Smith. Smith for 3, no good. Rebound taken by Schreck. Cross half court. Roth spots up for a 3. It's good. Capital 59, Muskingum 45. Over to Coffee, and now a foul will be called on the inside. Foul will be called against Ryan Seaver, his second, team's fifth of the half. Checking back in for Muskingum will be Noah Tomlinson. Tomlinson with 11 points in that first half, and thus far, no points for the big man here in the second half. Massinelli over to Smith. Now they'll go inside to Russell. Now a loose ball. Roth comes away with it, and then a foul will be called against Russell on the reach-in. That's Russell's first foul, team's fifth of the half. 10-11 to play. Capital up 59-45. Boy, this was a one-point game at the half, but thus far, Capital has come out like gangbusters here in the second half. They have outscored Muskingum 23-10. Make it 25-10 after the made layup by Dom Magerle. 61-45. By far the largest lead of the game for Capital. Smith. Step back three, no good. Rebound, out of bounds, off the hands of Bradley Russell. Russell trying to plead his case that a guy was right behind him, pushing him in the back while trying to make that rebound, but to no avail. (61-45). Capital with the lead. 9.5 to play. The Comets still looking for their first win in OAC play, dropping a disappointing result to their bitter rival, the Otterbein Cardinals, on Saturday. Graves trying to drive inside. Keandre having it blocked away, but then a foul called. And the foul will go against Alex Coffey. Team 6. That's the first foul against Coffey tonight. And so Keandre Graves, he shoots 78% from the foul line. His first shot is up and good. Graves, a senior from Euclid, Ohio, averaging 9.4 points per game. As his second shot is up, and that one is good as well. An 18-point lead for Capital, 9-12 left to play in the second half. Massinelli gets away with a push-off right there as he misses the shot, and then a foul will be called against Capital. Foul will go against Seaver. Boy, looked, at least from our vantage point, that was a blatant push-off, an armbar, if you will, by Massinelli, but that goes as no call. And the foul will go instead against Seaver as Dosick and Sanford will check back in for Capital. Coffey inbounding it to Taylor. Now to Massinelli. Massinelli being guarded by Dosick. Now Sanford. Now to Tomlinson. Tomlinson back to Massinelli. Massinelli going baseline, drives in and scores. Capital 63, Muskingum 47. 8:40 to play. Kick ball off the foot of MJ Smith. So now Schreck will inbound it from the far side. He'll get it into Sanford. Plenty of time on the shot clock for Capital. Thompson dribbling to his right. Ball poked out of bounds by Smith. And it'll still be Capital basketball. Sanford will inbound it right in front of the Capital bench. Bounces it into Graves. Graves now dribbling to his left. Keandre down the lane and can't get the shot to go, but a blocking foul will be called against Muskingum. The foul will go against Alex Coffey, his second of the game, team 7th. And so now Graves will head to the foul line once again. Graves, a left-handed shooter. Shot is up and good. Substitution now for Capital as Justin Nixon will check in for Capital. Meanwhile, one more free throw attempt for Keandre Graves. Graves' shot is up and good. The lead back up to 18 for Capital. Muskingum, meantime, with a substitution as Tanner Gensler checks back in for the Muskies. 65-47 in favor of Capital. They have outscored Muskingum 29-12 so far here in the second half. Smith from the left wing. He'll get it inside. Bunch of dribbling around by Coffey meantime. Now it's poked away. Here comes Sanford with a steal. Sanford will bounce it over to Graves, who will finish. A 20-point lead for Capital. This is a far cry from the back and forth game that we had in the first half. As the shot by Coffey is up and good. 67-49. Capital with a big lead, 7:40 remaining in the second half. And all you have to do is look at the shooting percentages of both these teams. Capital shooting over 50% from the field. Meantime, Muskingum, who was shooting as great as 56% from the field, that average has now dipped to 45.7%. Dosick outside the Nixon. Nixon, spin move, tough jumper, short. Graves, offensive board. He'll put it up. That's no good. Nixon, he'll get it back. That one's no good as well. Sanford, meantime, will hold it. Well, a bunch of missed shots, but nice tenacity on the glass for the Capital offense. Sanford will now get it inside to Dosick. Dosick will spin inside. Can't get the bucket to go, but a foul will be called against Muskingum once again. The foul will go against Tanner Gensler. That's his fourth, team's eighth. So now Griffin Dosick, a junior from Anna, Ohio. His first shot is up and no good. And a whole line change for Muskingum. Sean Johnson will check in. He'll play point guard. Jarmon Hogg will come in along with Bradley Russell and Carson Carter and Ethan Taylor. Dosick with one more attempt at the foul line. It's up and good. 68-49. Capital with the big lead. 6:50 to play. And what has turned out to be a very productive second half for the Comets. Hogg over to Russell. Now to Johnson. Johnson, double team, passes out of it. Three-pointer. That's no good. Off the mark. Rebound is taken by Justin Nixon. Sanford up ahead to Thompson. Now to Graves. Back to Thompson. Back to Sanford. Now swung all the way around to Dosick. Now with the hands of Thompson. Thompson, top of the arc. He'll attempt to drive. Pump fake. Jumper. No good. Rebound. Dosick. Offensive board for the native of Anna, Ohio. Now to Thompson. Thompson will dribble in the corner. Three-pointer. No good. About tipped up in the air. Graves with another offensive board. And another foul committed by Muskingum. The foul will go against Bradley Russell, his second, team's ninth. Actually, the one-on-one situation for Keandre Graves. First shot's up and good. One more free throw upcoming now for Graves. It is up, and it is good. Capital 70, Muskingum 49. Jarmon Hogg on the right wing. This is a Muskingum team that has been battered here in the second half as he's able to get that jumper to go. Still a big lead for Capital, 70-51. 5:40 left to play in the second half. Now we have a whistle, and a foul will go against Muskingum's Sean Johnson, his second, team's 10th. And so the double bonus for Capital the rest of the way. But first, a timeout by Capital. 5:38 left to play in the second half. Capital 70, Muskingum 51. This is Comets basketball on athletics.capital.edu. Capital has opened up a big lead here in the second half, thanks to balanced scoring. 10 players have scored at least 4 points for Capital. Comets being paced offensively by Ryan Roth, who's got 11, and Alex Iink, who's got 10. Meantime, another guy could be joining the double-figure scoring club. Sanford does, with the made free throw. So now he's got 10. And the next in line on Capital is Tyler Schreck. He's got 9. Meanwhile, one more free throw for Sanford. He knocks it down, and he's now got 11. A 72-51 lead for Capital. 5.5 to play here in the second half. Capital has now outscored Muskingum 36-16. Floater, missed shot, and a foul. It'll go against Griffin Dosick. That's his first foul, team 7th. And now heading to the free throw line is Bradley Russell. And he is from Coolville, Ohio. And yes, there is a place that exists called Coolville, Ohio, I swear. Originally went to Federal Hocking High School. As the first free throw is up and good. Second shot, no good. And an offensive board saved beautifully by Jarmon Hogg. Still a 20-point lead for Capital. Hogg back out. Carter, 3, no good. Tipped around, and finally won by Justin Nixon. Boy, I'll tell you what, Nixon has done yeoman's work coming off that Capital bench tonight. Provided some really tough minutes. He's now got 8 rebounds. And now, a 10-second violation will be called against Capital. They just simply weren't able to get it across half court in time. Coming back into the game for Muskingum will be M.J. Smith. 4:55 left to play in the second half. Capital 72, Muskingum 52. It was a 1-point game at the half, but because of an excellent second half here by Capital, this game has turned into a runaway. Massinelli out to Smith for 3, and Smith knocks it down from three-point land. This has not been a good night shooting the 3 ball for Muskingum. They've gone 3 of 14, good for only 21%. Thompson over to Dosick, now in the hands of Graves. Graves passing over to Sanford. Sanford asking for a screen, gets it from Dosick. Nice job by Muskingum switching up the defense, however. Now a tough jumper. That's off the side of the backboard, no good. Bad shot by Nixon. Massinelli, meanwhile, quickly coming the other way, and is blocked by Thompson. Meantime, runner, Smith, that's no good. Another offensive board. Now there's a loose ball, and diving for it is Justin Nixon. Capital somehow is able to get it away. Nixon saving it, but into Massinelli. But now they'll say it goes out of bounds off of Nixon. It'll still be Muskingum basketball as Schreck, Iink, and Seaver come back into the game for Capital. Ethan Taylor checks back in for Muskingum meantime. 3:51 left to play in the second half. Capital enjoying a 72-55 lead over Muskingum. Massinelli inside and a score. for Ethan Taylor. Capitals 72, Muskingum 57. Iyink inside to Schreck. To Megerle. Megerle able to get the jump hook to go. Deep three by Smith, and he'll rattle that one home. The Capital lead cut to 14, and now a foul will be called against Sanford as he got into a little bit of a tussle there with MJ Smith. Sanford was wanting the foul called on Smith, but according to AC Solly, no. That's an offensive foul against Sanford. That's his third personal, too. And that brings the Capital total to 8 this half. Now a timeout's going to be taken by Capital. We'll step aside. 3:17 left to play in the second half. Capital 74, Muskingum 60. This is Capital Men's Basketball on athletics.capital.edu. .317 left to play in the second half. The score, Capital 74, Muskingum 60. 3 double-digit scores on the night for Capital. 11 points each for Ryan Roth and David Sanford. 10 points for Alex Iyink. As a team, Capital shooting 46% from the field and 46% from three-point range. 11-24 from downtown. Massinelli, he gets that tough shot to go. And I think all of a sudden Massinelli's starting to heat up a little bit. So that cuts the Capital lead to 12, 74-62. A little over 3 minutes to play. Alex Iyink inside to Schreck, swung around. Iyink inside. Seaver finishes. Count the bucket and a foul as well. The foul will go against Bradley Russell, his third of the game. So Keandre Graves will check in for Capital. Meantime, Seaver, a 92% free throw shooter. It is up, and it is good. Capital 77, Muskingum 62. 2:51 to play as Carson Carter checks back in for Muskingum. Carter will get it into Massinelli. Massinelli will quickly bring it across half court to Carter. Swung around to Johnson. To Smith. Smith, top of the arc. He'll try a deep three. That's off the mark, out of bounds. And it will be Capital basketball. Ryan Roth will now check back in for Capital. Dom Megerle will check out for the Comets. 2:36 left to play. Capital with a 77-62 lead. Now this Muskingum team is not afraid to jack it up from three, so still a little bit of time here, but if you are a Capital fan, you got to be feeling pretty good about how this team has come to play tonight, particularly in the second half. 10 on the shot clock. Keandre Graves tries to go down the lane, a dish, and a traveling violation will be called against Tyler Schreck. And that causes a great deal of consternation on the Capital sideline, as Damon Goodwin was certainly not in love with that call. David Sanford will check back in for Capital. 2:12 left to go. Capital up 77-62. They will quickly get it into Smith. Smith will bring it across half court. He, along with Massinelli, will probably try to heave a couple threes here before it's all said and done. Carter, meantime, he's going to try to drive the lane. Tough jumper, and that's no good. But the putback is good for Tomlinson. After scoring 11 points in the first half, that's his first bucket of the second half. Hayek, meanwhile, will be fouled by Smith. That will stop the clock with 1:44 remaining. Capital up by 13, 77-64. After a very disappointing loss at the hands of Otterbein on Saturday, Capital looked to rebound tonight, and they have done so, as Hayek knocks it down. One more free throw upcoming for Hayek, as Dosick checks back in for Capital. Hayek now with 11. Trying to garner his 12th point of the night. It's up, and it's good. Capital 79, Muskingum 64, 1:40 remaining. Massinelli driving, gets the tough shot to go. Massinelli's now got 14. Well, it's kind of a case of too little too late, as Hayek might have gotten away with an over and back right there, but Capital still maintaining possession. Keandre Graves will now get fouled by Massinelli, and that will send Graves to the foul line. Graves has got 8 points on the night, so if he makes both these foul shots, he'll become the 4th double-digit scorer on the evening for the Comets. First shot, no good. So even if he makes the next free throw, he'll still remain in single digits. He's got 8, still trying for 9, as Magerle will check back in for Capital. Graves' second toss from the foul line will rattle home, so now he's got 9. It's an 80-66 lead for Capital, 1:18 and counting. Massinelli, right wing, dribbling to his right. Now he'll try to go baseline. Back out to Smith for 3. Smith, no good. And a battle for the loose ball. It'll go the way of Muskingum, as Hayek got locked up there with Carson Carter. So Muskingum will get the ball here. 1:02 remaining. 80-66 in favor of Capital. Massinelli will drive in and misses the shot. Schreck is fouled. Will this foul be against Massinelli or Noah Tomlinson? Looks like it'll be against Noah Tomlinson. So now Schreck will head to the foul line. It has been quite the night for the senior from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. The shot is up for Schreck, and that's no good. He's got 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals, and if he can make this free throw right here, he will have 10 points. It is up, and it is good. So now, Schreck only needs 1 more assist for another double-double. Typically, he gets those double-double scoring points and rebounds. Graves, meanwhile, will fly in and score. He now has 11 points. 42 seconds and counting. Capital 83, Muskingum 66. Carter will drive in. He'll miss the layup. And another rebound for Schreck. That's his 8th. Alex Hayek. Over to Graves. About a 5-second differential between shot clock and game clock. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Sanford will simply hold the ball. He'll dribble up. He'll put up a three, and he'll knock it down. Muskingum back with the ball, 5 seconds. Johnson will drive in. He'll score. Stopping the clock momentarily, 3.8. They'll get it in bounds. And that is that here at the Capitol Center. Well, a close ball game in the first half turns into a rather convincing win for Capitol tonight. Your final from the Capitol Center, Comets 86, Muskies 68. Coming up on our postgame show, we'll examine the stats from this game, check in on scores around the OAC, and we might be joined by a player or two as well. You have to catch it here on the postgame show. Again, the final score from the Capitol Center, Capitol 86, Muskingum 68. This has been a presentation of Capitol men's basketball on athletics.capitol.edu. Welcome to our post-game show. Our final tonight from the Capitol Center. The Comets triumph over the Muskies, 86-68. I'm Charlie Danis. Good first conference win for Capitol this season. They had a disappointing result against Otterbein last Saturday, but they're able to rebound in spectacular fashion, defeating Muskingum tonight by a final of 86-68. We'll examine the stats from this game in just a moment. In the meantime, let's get you caught up with some scores around the OAC. We begin with the big tilt between Mount Union and John Carroll. About a minute and a half remaining in the second half, and it looks like the Purple Raiders will be able to come out with a victory. They lead John Carroll 91-78 in that game. It has been a tremendous game for Daryl Newsom, who's got 29 points in that game for Mount Union. Elsewhere, around the OAC, Wilmington leading Ohio Northern 57-51 with about a minute and a half remaining in the second half of that game. The Quakers have been led offensively by Jeffrey Mansfield. My goodness, 23 points. He shot 9 of 13 from the field tonight as the Quakers are looking to pick up their first win with an OAC play. And finally, a game that's coming down to the wire. 2:15 remaining in the second half of this one. Trine leading Heidelberg 67-66. Leading scorer for the Student Princes is Isaiah Young. He's got 13. Meanwhile, Nick Bowman is having the game of his life for Trine. 26 points, 8 of 15 from the field in that one. Those are the scores around the OAC. We'll take another break. When we come back, more of the postgame show. Again, the final, Capitol 86, Muskingum 68. Welcome back to our postgame show. The final from the Capitol Center tonight, Capitol 86, Muskingum 68. And I'm Charlie Danis. I'm joined in the broadcast booth right now by Tyler Schreck. And Tyler, I'm looking at your stat line right now. Let's see here. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals. Do you love stuff in the stat sheet like that?
I tried to every game, but most important thing is to win, and we got that tonight.
So disappointing game, obviously, against Otterbein last weekend, and I'm sure you guys were talking about all week long about how you needed a bounce back. This was a fun, entertaining game in the first half, back and forth, but then you guys really turned it on in the second half. What was the key?
Yeah, first half, I think we were real static with the ball, one-on-ones and everything. We talked about at halftime, we needed to move the ball around. We were able to do that, and obviously it came out with us scoring probably close to 50 points in the second half is my guess, and a good shooting percentage, which we needed from Saturday. We shot pretty poorly, so we definitely picked it up tonight.
Balanced scoring throughout this game. You guys end up having five guys scoring in double figures. I want to start with David Sanford. He had 14 points tonight, really sharp from 3, 4 from 7 from downtown. Talk about his game tonight.
Yeah, I know he was struggling a little bit last Saturday, and we just need to keep people with confidence up, and I know Bub's got the confidence, and he showed it tonight, putting up 14 points, and we know he can score, and he just needs to keep doing it for us to be good.
So he was really good from three-point range. It's interesting how in that back-and-forth first half, the three-point shot really kept you guys in the game for the most part before you were able to turn it on in the second half. Was three-point shooting a point of emphasis in practice leading up to this game?
I wouldn't say really. I think we kept it close because we shot a little too many threes in the first half. I know we were making some, but the point of our game is just get the ball moving, get inside, and then if we have an open three, shoot it. But we just need to get the ball movement, and it did keep us in the game the first half, but obviously second half moving it around helped us a lot more than shooting a ton of threes that we did in the first half.
My last question for you is going to be, this is not only a win but a conference win, and I'm sure that this has got to be a big boost of confidence for you guys going forward. How big was this win tonight, and how can you make this carry over for the rest of the month?
Yeah, it was huge. Second game of the conference, came out with a loss. We never want to do that, and we're playing in the Cap Center, and we never want to lose here. So especially it's getting a win in the Cap Center and a big conference game win is a big deal. And now we're looking ahead to John Carroll, get another win on the road.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Tyler Schreck joined us here in the broadcast booth, and now we're going to be joined by another Capitol player. Like Tyler, he scored double figures in this game tonight. That'd be David Sanford, 14 points, 5 rebounds to go along with a couple of assists as well. Hey, you got things going from three-point range early on in this game. Talk to me about your shot to begin the game.
I was feeling pretty good to start the game. I think my first two was makes. Like Tyler said, last game I struggled a lot, so I wanted to make sure this game I came in with a lot of confidence shooting the ball.
This was a game that had a very fun second half. I mean, it was fun for me to call because it was back and forth. You guys were trading leads, a lot of ties in that first half. But then the second half, to you, what was the big key in that second half as you guys were able to ultimately pull away?
Really just starting off with taking care of the ball. That's the biggest thing, is taking care of the ball, and then offensively just executing. Run, we run. If we run and do it right and execute, we're going to have a good time.
It wasn't just you. It wasn't just Tyler. Austin had double figures in scoring. Ryan Roth had 11 points. Keandre was able to chip in with 11 points. Such balanced scoring. Why?
We just got a lot of guys that can score. We're a very balanced team. We're not going to have a guy that's scoring 20, 30 a night. When we got guys that's in double figures every night, it's going to be scary for other teams.
I also want to talk defensively for just a second. Muskingum was without Noah Begg, but they still had Alex Massinelli. That guy was averaging close to 19 points per game. You guys hold him to a very quiet, and I mean a very quiet 14 points per game. How would you say you did on the defensive end tonight?
I think we did very good with ball pressure. Ball pressure was a key with these guards. They're a very good guarded team. So I think ball pressure, just giving them ball pressure was a big key for us, and communication.
You got a big challenge coming up with John Carroll. They're always one of the top teams in the OASC, and on relatively short rest as well with that game being played on Friday. What's going to be the key heading into that matchup with the Blue Streaks?
Again, just execution. If we can execute, we're going to be a good team. Like you said, we had a lot of guys in double figures tonight, and if we keep doing that, it's going to be trouble for other teams.
All right, David, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
David Sanford joining us up here in the broadcast booth along with Tyler Schreck. We thank those gentlemen very much as they're able to celebrate a win here tonight against Muskingum. Let's run through the stats of this game. We begin with the team statistics. Capital shooting 49% from the field. Meanwhile, Muskingum shooting 47% from the field. Turned out to be a rough night from three-point range for Muskingum. They go 5 of 18 from beyond the arc, good for only 28%. Capital, meanwhile, going 12 of 25 from downtown, good for 48%. At the foul line, Muskingum goes 5 of 8, good for 63%. Capital able to capitalize on its free throws this evening as they go 20 of 24 at the cherry stripe, good for 83%. Capital ends up out-rebounding Muskingum in this one 32-21. One of the big reasons that they were able to ultimately pull away in the second half was getting all those rebounds, particularly on the defensive end. Assists, Capital 21, Muskingum 14. Turnovers were just about even between both these teams. Capital had 14, Muskingum had 13. Bench points, Capital with 36 and Muskingum with 21. Fast break points favored Capital 18-11. 9 steals for Capital as opposed to only 3 for Muskingum. Points off turnovers, just about even. Muskingum with a slight edge, 17-16. Points in the paint, Muskingum 36, Capital 26. Second chance points, 8-5 in favor of the Muskies. And that's it for team statistics. Now we go on to the individual statistics. Let's begin with Muskingum. The leading scorers for the Muskies tonight were M.J. Smith and Alex Massinelli. Each of those players had 14 points. Massinelli ends up finishing shooting 7 of 13 from the field, 0 of 1 from three-point range, did have 5 rebounds, also had 9 assists. But like we said, a very quiet 14 for Massinelli. This was a guy that came in here averaging 18.6 points per game, 4th best within the OAC, and a lot of those points that he garnered tonight really came in garbage time towards the end of that second half. M.J. Smith, meanwhile, shooting 5 of 13 from the field. He goes 4 of 11 from downtown, good for 36%. Noah Tomlinson had himself a great first half. He had 11 points. The problem for him was he only had 2 in the second half. He ends up scoring 13 points for Muskingum tonight. Other scores for Muskingum, 7 points for Bradley Russell, 6 points each for Tanner Gensler, as well as Carson Carter, and then 2 points each for Sean Johnson, Alex Coffey, also Ethan Taylor, and finally 2 points for Jamar Hogg. Now the individual statistics for Capital. 5 players score in double figures tonight, led offensively by David Sanford. Sanford, 14 points, shoots 4 of 10 from the field. All 4 of his makes were from downtown. He ends up going 4 of 7 from three-point range, good for 57%. He also had 5 rebounds in this game. 12 points for the freshman Alex Iyink. He shoots 3 of 4 from the field, a perfect 3 of 3 from downtown, and also 3 of 4 from the foul line to go along with 3 assists. 11 points for Ryan Roth. He goes 3 of 6 from the field, good for 50%. All 3 of his makes were from three-point range as well. Keandre Graves, he comes off the bench. Or actually, Keandre Graves starts tonight, and he had 11 points on the night, 2 of 4 from the field, 7 of 8 from the foul line. And finally, Tyler Schreck, he ends up having a near double-double, or actually a near triple-double, if you really think about it. 10 points to go along with 9 assists and 8 rebounds. Also 4 steals in the game for Mr. Schreck, the senior. Other scores for Capital tonight, Ryan Sievers got 8 points, 6 points apiece for Dom Magerly, as well as Griffin Dosick, and 4 points each for Joe Thompson, as well as Justin Nixon, who, oh, by the way, did yeoman's work out there on the boards. He had 8 rebounds on the night for Capital. So Capital ends up getting the win tonight. They pick up their first win with an OAC play. That improves their record within OAC play to 1-1. Meanwhile, Muskingum still searching for their first victory in conference play. They drop to 0-2 within Ohio Athletic Conference play. Capital will take their act on the road 2 days from now. They're going to be playing Friday night basketball up in University Heights, Ohio, when they take on the Blue Streaks of John Carroll. That game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock start. Be sure to go to athletics.capital.edu, as we will have a link to the broadcast from there, as well as live stats from that game. Our next men's basketball broadcast here on athletics.capital.edu, that will happen on Saturday, December 18th, when the Ohio Northern Polar Bears come a-calling here at the Capitol Center. Tip-off is scheduled for 4 o'clock. We will begin things with a short pregame show beginning at 3:50 p.m. This is Charlie Day saying one final time the final score tonight from the Capitol Center. Capitol 86, Muskingum 68. So long and good night from Bexley, Ohio.